You can wake up at 4:30 in the morning for a flight. You can go to work exhausted. You can answer the phone when somebody you love needs you, even when you don't feel like talking. So maybe discipline was never your problem. Maybe you've just been treating everybody else's needs like commitments and your own life like a suggestion. That's hard to admit because it means the version of you that you keep waiting on isn't missing. He shows up all the time. He just hasn't learned to show up for you. And when that finally changes, when your own word starts carrying the same weight as a deadline, a flight, or a promise you made to somebody else, your life begins to feel different before it looks different. Because the first change isn't your money, your body, or your audience. It's whether you believe yourself when you say, I'm going to do it. Think about the last promise you broke to yourself. Maybe you got home around 6:40 and said you start at 7. You picked up your phone for a few minutes and somehow it was 9:18. Now it felt too late, so you moved the plan to tomorrow. Nothing dramatic happened. That's what makes it dangerous. Your mind still heard what you said, watched you negotiate your way out of it, and remembered. Tomorrow came, and the same task felt heavier because you were taking instructions from somebody you had learned not to trust. Sometimes what feels like a confidence problem is really a memory problem. You remember how many times you left yourself waiting. Taking yourself seriously isn't about waking up at 5 or turning your life into a punishment. It means giving your own priorities a place in reality. You arrange your day around a deadline from your boss. You plan around a flight. But the idea you claim could change your life gets whatever energy is left at night, and then you wonder why it never becomes real. Taking yourself seriously means deciding when the work begins before the day starts making decisions for you. And honestly, it may not look impressive. There's no dramatic speech. The first take is rough. The workout feels average, but you finish the session. People talk as if confidence arrives first and gives you permission to act. Usually it happens the other way around. You act while you're uncertain and keep enough promises that your mind finally has new evidence. Little by little, motivation stops being your boss. If it shows up, great. If it doesn't, the appointment still stands. Taking yourself seriously does not mean becoming perfect. You'll miss sometimes. Life will interrupt you. The difference is that one bad day no longer becomes a reason to disappear. You don't call yourself a failure and schedule another complete life reset for Monday. You adjust and return. Serious doesn't mean cruel. It means you stop abandoning the whole relationship every time something goes wrong. You may also start talking less about what you're going to do. Not because you're trying to be mysterious. You just don't need somebody else's reaction to make the plan feel important anymore. Talking about an idea too early can give you a piece of the reward before you've earned it. So you let the work stay quiet long enough to become strong. Some people might say you've changed. They're probably right. Your time used to belong to whoever reached you first. Now, part of it already belongs to something you decided matters. That doesn't make you selfish. The people you love often get a better version of you when you're no longer carrying the frustration of constantly avoiding your own life. But there's a part of this nobody really warns you about. For a while, you may do everything right and receive almost nothing back. The video gets 12 views. The application sits unanswered. The scale barely moves. You've been consistent long enough to feel the effort, but not long enough for anybody else to see the difference. That space will test you more than the beginning. At the beginning, excitement carries you. Later, results can encourage you, but in the middle, there's just you, the work, and the question you've been avoiding. Do I only keep promises when I'm quickly rewarded for them? This is where taking yourself seriously becomes real. You keep going. Not because the outcome doesn't matter, but because today's response does not get to decide what your future is worth. No applause, no visible breakthrough, just another piece of evidence that you didn't leave when the feeling changed. That evidence starts showing up in places you didn't expect. You make decisions rather because you're no longer asking 5 people for permission to want what you want. You apply before you can talk yourself out of it. You speak more clearly because you aren't constantly trying to hide the gap between what you say and what you do. That's what people eventually recognize as confidence. They don't see where it came from, but you do. It came from all those ordinary moments when nobody was checking and you followed through anyway. Maybe you've spent years telling yourself that you need to become a more disciplined person, but look at the evidence you already have. You've shown up for shifts, handled responsibilities, paid bills, helped people, and made things happen because someone was counting on you. The discipline exists. The real question is, why has everybody else had more access to it than you? Don't answer that question by creating a 12-step plan tonight. Choose one promise. Make it specific enough that there is nowhere to hide. Work on my channel is an intention. At 7:30, I'm writing for 30 minutes. Is an appointment. Then create a smaller version for the difficult days. Maybe the full commitment is 30 minutes, but the floor is 10. The floor isn't a loophole. It's a bridge that keeps a hard day from becoming another disappearance. If you miss, return at the next scheduled time. Don't punish yourself with double the work. Don't give one mistake enough power to erase everything you've been building. The goal isn't to produce a perfect record. The goal is to make your own word believable again. So what actually happens when you take yourself seriously? You don't instantly become a different person. You stop disappearing on the person you're trying to become. The guilt starts getting quieter because there's finally action behind your intentions. Opportunities that once intimidated you begin to look reachable, not because they became smaller, but because you no longer see yourself as someone who will automatically quit. And eventually, other people may start calling you focused, confident, or even lucky. They won't see the ordinary Tuesday nights. They won't know how many times you wanted to put off and began anyway. But you'll know. Tomorrow, there will probably be a moment that nobody else sees. The alarm goes off. The laptop is closed. The shoes are by the door. There's no boss checking, no flight leaving, and nobody waiting for you to arrive. Nobody except you. When that moment comes, don't give yourself another speech. Don't wait to feel powerful. Just begin. Because you have already proven that you can show up when the consequence feels real. It's time to understand that your life is the consequence. And this time, don't leave yourself waiting.